let me tell you who are the three students who have, made this. They're here with us. So I was talking to Cheryl. So welcome, Cheryl. Cheryl has been, we had these CareShareDare Talks with them last year, and when we were inviting alumni to interact with them, and now it's the other way around. Cheryl is there in the campus, Paris campus, pursuing a DMDS digital marketing in data science program, and she already had 4 years of work experience. Just to give a little background about Cheryl, Cheryl took up MSc in digital marketing data science last year. She came with 4 years of work experience in digital marketing, and she had an interest in data analytics, and that's the reason she joined the course. So she's one of the students who's here with us. The other is 𝐞𝐦𝐥𝐲𝐨𝐧. I hope I'm pronouncing the surname right. Nikhil, don't kill me for this.
No, you're right.
I hope I've done that right. Hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Diksha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yes. I'm so used to calling you just by your name that pronouncing the surname was something that never struck me. So I just wanted to be sure I've done that right. So guys, I'll take this opportunity to introduce Nikhil as well, from Hyderabad. He was a marketing and a strategy professional, again, with over 3 years of experience. Currently enrolled in the Specialized Masters MSc in Sports Industry Management program. And, this program was all about operations and the marketing side of the sports industry. That's the reason why Nikhil was attracted towards it, and he took up this program. And the other student who I still do not see in the group, but I'm hoping that she'll be also able to join us, that is Chandana. Chandana was, and by the way, all three of them are student ambassadors for their respective courses. So I think we can give them a round of applause for being chosen as the student ambassadors for this program as well, their respective programs. So yes, Chandana is a luxury marketing and management student. Again, she had 4 years of digital marketing experience from Bangalore when she enrolled in the LMM program. And she's currently at New York for an exchange program with Parsons School of Design. Those of you in LMM, you are aware that semester 2 is where you have the option to choose New York, London, or Rome. So currently she's part of the semester 2 program and is in New York. So we are hoping that she would also be able to, join this session shortly. And yes, we'll share the screen and we'll let Cheryl, would you like to take it forward with Nikhil together, or Nikhil, you want to start? I would actually want you guys to be talking about the presentation, since you have made it and you put in all the effort. So we would just like to hear you and let the students grasp and absorb it. So I'll let Nikhil and Cheryl decide and take it forward.
Sure.
Cheryl, you could
Nikhil, do you want me to start and then you continue, or we just chip in whenever we think we have something more to say?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I could fill in when people have questions and, any of the...
Okay. Great. Yes, Diksha, I can see your screen.
Perfect. So, yes, Cheryl.
Yeah, so first things first. Hi, guys. Sorry, someone was saying something.
Yeah, so I'm Sarvesh. Can I please interrupt for a moment? Since this video is being recorded, this whole presentation, would it be shared later so that we don't have to jot
everything? Absolutely, Sarvesh. Don't worry. We are going to share the presentation also with you guys on a mail. We'll be sending it to everybody over emailer. Plus, to just let you know, the entire CSD talk, whatever we have, even last time, we uploaded to our YouTube channel, emlyon India YouTube channel. And you can also go there and watch it. We'll be also sending in through mass mailers to all the enrolled candidates, the entire recording, as well as the presentation separately. So don't worry about it.
Okay, so I'll start. So first things first, hi guys. I'm glad that you all are all going to be part of emlyon, and maybe I'll be able to meet some of you all at the Paris campus in September. So yes, we start with Campus France. I think that's very important because that's the first place and where you need to complete your application process. And only once you do that and get the NOC from them is when you will be able to go to BFS and get your visa. Ideally, I would recommend that you all start the entire Campus France process mid-April. because they do receive a lot of other applications as well other than emlyo, and the process takes quite a bit of time because there's back and forth. There must be documents that are not clear, and also you all have to upload it within a particular size limit. So make sure that you'll have all these documents in hand. It's as per the size requirements that are mentioned on the website. And even when you all are scanning it, make sure that everything is legible so there is less back and forth between you and Campus France. When I was applying to Campus France Bombay, there was no personnel over there that handled all these files. So ideally, my file would either go to the Pune office or Bhopal office. So make sure that whenever you all complete your file and you all get the notification that your file has been submitted, it is good to send them an email saying, I have sent it. Please let me know if anything else is required. They do take 4 working days to get back to you on your file. If you do not hear anything from them, please call one of the offices. Delhi office, usually I thought they used to answer all our calls, even the Kolkata office. And you can ask them, like, if the Bombay office, there is nobody, where do they think your file could have gone? And then call those offices ideally. And yeah, they want all the documents, your 10th certificate, your 12th certificate, your transcripts, Aadhaar, passport. If you all have traveled previously, those visas. If your IELTS and GMAT scores are not compulsory, but if you have them, well and good, please upload it. If you have a gap year between your education or your when you studied and then started working, mention that as well. And once you upload all of it and your file is good, is when you will get a notification saying that your file is all good, and they will ask you for an interview. The interview is face-to-face. You will have to do it. For some students, it was on video. For some of us, we had to go down to their office. And if it's on video, make sure that you have your passport or some identity document in hand, because they'll ask you to show that. And we mentioned the questions that they asked us. So be sure as to what you're going to say. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to if you would be staying back in France or not. Just make sure you're able to justify your reason in a good manner. Yeah, Nikhil, do you have anything to add on Campus France? That's all that I had.
So yes, I did. So personally, it took me about 4.5 weeks for the whole file to get validated. So I would suggest you to keep in touch with them if you think there's any sort of delay which is going to happen, or if you see any sort of, if you don't see any update which is taking place on your portal, or if you don't get any sort of email from them, just try to reach out and try to understand what's the reason. Because after the 4th week, I actually found out that the counselor who was taking care of my file did not send an email or a verification mail to the university. So that was one of the reasons why there was a delay. So I would suggest anyone who's applying to any of the Campus France offices, just try to be, in contact with them pretty frequently. Yeah, you can take it up.
Okay. Anyone has any?
I'm sorry for interrupting. I hope this was clear, guys. If on this part, if there's anything that you want to ask, you can. Else, if you want to ask the questions straight at the end, that's also fine. But since I believe they have a limited time, so in case there's anything quick that you want to ask right here, you can raise your hand and ask a question as well here. So I hope no queries here, as far as no questions here.
I have 2 questions to ask. This is Amit Dubey.
Yes, I am.
Just quickly, have you guys used any agency or some third party? There are a lot of consultancies who provide all these services. So is there anyone can be used, or shall I go ahead and do it by myself? What do you suggest?
I think, Nikhil.
So I personally did everything by myself. It's a bit of a hectic process, but it's pretty straightforward. But I mean, if you think it would be easier for you to go reach out to any sort of services, you could reach out to Y-Axis. I think they do visas with France. But for Campus France, I would suggest you just go ahead and do it yourself. It's pretty straightforward. Cheryl, if you have something to add.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same. In fact, there was a video on YouTube by Campus France and a couple of other agencies who take you through the entire process in 45 minutes, which I myself had used. So I think it's like Nikhil said, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing confusing about it. There are a list of documents, you upload it, and that's about it. So I don't think you need to go to an agency.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Amit, also to just add to this, to my knowledge and to the best of my knowledge, if I can add, I have not seen any other candidates going through, consultant for the Campus France process. For application, yes, we do get candidates who come to us, when they're in their application stage. But post enrollment, most students do it on their own. I think that's something that, and they've already explained it's pretty simple. So there's no point paying money to an agency and getting into when it's a straightforward and a simple process. Anyways, the interview is something that you only have to go and do. So, it's just about uploading them, and that I think you could do. So that's just to add. I think there's another query coming in from Anirban. I see a hand. So Anirban, if you can also ask your question.
Yeah, hi Diksha, hi everyone. Yeah, so I wanted to ask that for a physical interview, so we'll need to carry all the documents that we have submitted in the Campus France portal, right? Like, is that a mandatory thing, or do we not need to carry it?
Yes, you need to carry a copy of everything and the originals, because they'll be cross-checking and they'll be validating your file while the interview is going to be taking
So this is only applicable
When-
for the documents that we have submitted, right? Like nothing else apart from that.
Nothing else.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Ashley.
Yeah, Vishant. I think there's one more question from Vishant. Those who have
Yeah.
asked your queries and your doubts have been cleared, you can just remove the hand icon after that so that there's no confusion. Yes, Vishant.
So thanks, Diksha. I had actually two questions. One was, what is the kind of timeline? I mean, I understand that the overall timeline that it took was 2.5 weeks or 4 weeks in some cases, but once you submit and once all the back and forth is done with the changes as required and whatever final changes are accepted, what is the timeline for a person generally to get the NOC? And the second question was, in what step do we actually need to make a payment towards the application process from Campus France? Because these are two things that I could not find in their website. I think there's some payment of 17,000 or so that is needed, right? So at what stage do we need to make that payment?
So Vishant, I think when you start doing your process for Campus France, I think as soon as you finish uploading all your files, the first round, you then schedule the whole thing, and that's when you pay your first 17,000. And then when you go in for an interview, you might have a few changes. Actually, that's even before interviews, you might get a few changes in terms of some documents might not be right, or some documents might need some updates. So once the update is done, you resend it for another review, and once the review is done, you call for a physical interview. And once the interview is done, I think within 3 days, I think I got mine within 3 days, you get your NOC.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ashley, you have a question as well. I see you raising a hand.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just want to make a remark on what has just been said. As a rule of the thumb, guys, when you're going to submit your papers and your information, I like what has been said earlier. There is no, first of all, in terms of answers, there is no right or wrong answer. Whatever you need to say, please say it without any fear. First point. The second point, whatever you upload, whatever information you give, please have that information readily available on any physical encounter, because as it has also been said, there is a lot of checking going on. Okay, I'll give you what is happening behind the scenes, because I happen to be French as well, and I happen to be in contact with Campus France and with the French consulate. What they are looking for basically is fraud, but this is not the case. But what they are looking out for also is a legitimate candidates and legitimate students, okay? And they want to see if in any way or the other, this process will be used for any other means, period. So there is no fear, there is no anxiety that needs to be put in this process. Every information you have, please have it ready. That's all. And last thing, you are coming on behalf of, you are a part of emlyon. It's a good brand. It's a well-recognized brand. So the screening process and the control process will, I believe, be thorough, but you will not have the same type of pressure than other schools that are well known or that have been a little bit lenient in the way their selection has been taken care of. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. So we'll move to the next slide then, Cheryl and Nikhil, and you can take it over from there.
Yeah. So the next step is obviously VFS. So you can start with VFS only when you get the NOC from Campus France. But certain things that I had an issue with VFS is, one, appointments are not easily available. So you constantly need to keep checking if you're going to get an appointment, because everyone who's going to come to Europe is going to start applying in that particular time. So be sure, be on your toes and try and get yourself an appointment. From my personal experience, try and get an appointment at like the earliest one that's available, 8:30 or 9 o'clock, because in case there's something else that needs to be added onto your file, you can get it during the day and submit it so that your file gets sent in that particular day itself. Yeah, so the things that you need, all your mark sheets, if you have to get a housing accommodation in France. Like I understand that some of us did submit Airbnb copies, but that, let me tell you, it was for a short time. We also did find housing accommodations for ourselves, but they were just available later during the year. I know some people's visa was rejected, not for emlyon, but other colleges in France, because they didn't have proper housing documents. So you need your rent receipt, and if you can get a contract from your landlord, that's even better. But if you've paid the first month, good. And if you booked an Airbnb for the first 2 weeks that you're in France, please submit that as well. If you're taking out a loan, get the document from the bank with respect to that. If somebody's sponsoring you, like your parents, make sure that you have an attested sponsorship letter from them. You can get it done at any notary. I think it's 500 rupees or 100 rupees to get it stamped. So you can do that. Whoever is your sponsor, please submit their tax returns for the last 2 years, and also their bank statements with the bank seal stating that they have that relevant amount in their bank. Yeah, and your passport size photo, health and travel insurance for a minimum of 90 days, and the other documents that we have mentioned over here. Yeah, like I said, the sooner the better. Mumbai and Delhi have the consulates over there, so it's easier and quicker when they have to process your files. Like I got mine in 4 days, but if your file goes to the Pondicherry consulate or anywhere else, or for example, if you're from Kerala or anywhere in the south and your file is going to go to Pondicherry, it's going to take a while. It's going to take 2 to 3 weeks, because from what I know, there was only one person at the consulate over there who would stamp visas, and they had a lot of traffic. So yeah, that's what I have with regards to VFS. And I'm so sorry, I will have to drop off because I have to run for class. But in case you all have any questions, please you all can call or connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will make sure that I will answer all your queries.
Thank you, Cheryl. I know Cheryl was supposed to be with us for a longer time, but a class got rescheduled.
Yes.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
But Nikhil is here with us, so and Cheryl, if you can just message Chandana also, in case you were saying she is planning to join in case she plans
Yes,
to join.
I will do
also.
that right now.
Yes,
It's pretty
thank you.
early.
Thank you so
It's
much.
pretty early in New York, so I mean, it's.
I know, but yeah, but apparently she had said that she would be joining.
Okay.
So it just Cheryl can just leave a message. But otherwise, Nikhil, now the entire onus is on you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you,
Thank you
Cheryl.
so much, Cheryl.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.
Have a great time in Paris.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see Anirban asking a question. So, Anirban, yes, you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I had another question. So basically, I see over here in the document list, it's mentioned that we need to show the not birth certificate with a QR. So like, how to exactly get that? Like, I'm not much aware of this process. Like, it's written latest one with QR code. So that's one part of the question. And another part is, it's mentioned over there that we need to show them the relieving and the experience data. So what if like I'm still working and I didn't, because generally once we have basically been past the notice period, then we'll be getting the relieving letter and all. So if I'm still serving notice period during that VFS process, or I'm still working, I have not yet like submitted the like basically resignation and all. So do I need to show them like something else or what?
So as far as my knowledge, you do have to show a certain type of relieving letter, especially if you are working currently in India. But if you have not submitted your resignation letter yet, what you could do is you can ask your HR if there is some sort of letter they can provide to give a particular date when you will be relieved. So that would be, let's say you have your appointment on the 10th of July, but your relieving is on the 1st of August. You can ask them to give you a document which says you will be relieved on the 1st of August. And I think that should be good to go. And in terms of the birth certificate, I'm not too keen about that, but you might have to go to one of the government offices to redo your whole birth certificate thing. I think you just have to regenerate. They give you a new copy of your birth certificate, and that's how you have your QR code.
Okay, that birth certificate part is fine. Regarding the relieving one, another thing I wanted to know. So is it fine, like let's say generally when we resign, we'll be getting an auto-generated email or some document, some sort of document which states that what is our last day and all. So that document will that be enough, or do I need to generate something for the HR as like that's compulsory?
No, I mean, I think if you have the last date of your last working day from your company's letterhead and an official signature from either your manager or your HR, I think that should be good enough.
Okay, got it.
I can definitely share you what I used as well. You can get in touch with me, and I can share you through email in terms of what document I used.
Okay, sure. Will it be okay if you can drop your email address?
Absolutely. I'll do it right now.
Thanks.
Nikhil, I suggest you can share your email ID or LinkedIn ID if it's comfortable with you here itself in the chat. In fact, LinkedIn ID, I'm sure. Yes, Nikhil has already done that. So in case some of you want to reach out, you can keep his email ID. Thanks so much, Nikhil. You can also give your LinkedIn ID and
absolutely.
Or some of them can get in touch with you as well. So, Amit, yes, you have a question as well? You're at this point?
Yeah, just a small one. What should be the duration of reservation required to show for VFS? I mean, 6 months or 1 year, because the course is for 1 year. So is it like a formality or take it seriously?
I'm sorry. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, even I didn't get the question.
What should be the duration of room reservation required to show? I mean, the room reservation, like suppose we go.
Acha, he's talking about the house.
Right.
Yeah, room reservation.
I think if it's an Airbnb and a hotel, it's about 2 to 4 weeks. And if you're getting a housing, then 1 to 2 months of contract should be good enough.
Okay. Thank
and
you.
I mean, to be honest, if you start searching from now, the best suggestion for housing would be to get any sort of student residence, which are located either inside Paris or right outside Paris. The only one thing in mind you guys need to keep about housing is try to make sure you have some sort of public transport very close by. So that's going to make it very easy for you to travel to classes. For example, like I stay right outside Paris, and I fortunately have a metro station right next to my house. So it takes about 20 minutes to get to emlyon, and you have a train station right in front of emlyon.
Can I add something on that, please?
Absolutely.
So guys, if you're looking at housing, I mean at options in Paris or even Lyon, take a look at the, as Nikhil just said, take a look at the public transportation maps, and most importantly the metro and the RER in Paris. And once you have that map, pin down all the locations, and as Nikhil said, try and figure out a location, a housing opportunity not very far from RER or a metro station, because it's a big city, and it will help you a lot in terms of mobility.
Absolutely.
So you are on which metro, Nikhil?
Take the RER.
So it's the RER. Okay, so it's not the metro.
It's not the metro. I take the RER.
Yeah. You said metro. That's why I was wondering. I thought you were living in Paris. Okay, fine.
Hey guys, my name is Ruhan. I need some help.
Hi Ruhan, please go ahead.
Yeah, what are like visa processing fees and Campus France charges in a whole the process?
So I think Campus France does a fee of 17,500, something around that. And for the week, sorry?
It's 17 or 70?
17,000. And for the visa process, there's a charge after you submit your documents at the VFS. So I'm not exactly sure about the number, but I can definitely get you the charges later on today. I can drop an email, or I can drop an email to Deeksha or Sayali, and I can give you all the charges, the exact charges which I paid for my.
Yeah, I think, Nikhil, it's also available on the website of VFS. It's around 10,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So the VFS, so what you pay after submitting your documents, I think it's around 40 or 32 to 40 euros, something in between that, for the embassy as well. So make sure you carry either your credit card or some sort of cash.
Thank you. I think we still have one more hand. Vishant, yes, you have a question as well?
Yeah. So I just wanted to understand with regards to the birth certificate, at any stage, do we need a translated version to give it to either Campus France or VFS? Or is it just something that is required later once we are joining the campus?
So you do not need any translation back in India. You can just submit the direct certificate, the birth certificate you have right now. The only translation you require, and please make sure you get a translation before you come to Paris, because the translation is only valid for 3 months, and you need it to use it for your CAF, which is a student housing discount, and you also need to use it to apply for your insurance and your social security, which is the card vital.
And in that respect, just wanted to know, like how my birth certificate is. I'm sure it's true for most of us here. It's in dual languages, so it's in English as well as a regional language.
Okay.
Will that pose any challenge if? I think we have to get it translated with some authorized personnel, right?
It has to be. Vishant, it has to be apostille. That's for French. That has to be translated in French. What Nikhil is right now talking about is when you land in France, for your social security number, your CAF, and all other aspects, they need the birth certificate in French. So there are two ways to go about it to get it apostille in French. You can go, if you visit the Ministry of external affairs website and you can directly, I think, go through the ministry. You have enough time how to get your, birth certificate apostille in French. Or there are agencies also available which charge somewhere between 7,000 to 10,000 in different cities, depending on which city, Kolkata, Bombay, Delhi, there are mostly, and they get it done for you. But like, for example, last year, a lot of candidates did it through agency. I don't know, Nikhil, how you did it.
I got mine done with agency as well.
You did it through agency as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think most of the candidates did it through agency because they get it done in 3-4 days. But I do remember talking to a couple of candidates. For example, you from MBA, Sanchali is a MBA candidate from Kolkata. She had done it without any agency support, and she had gone through the website, and it took a month for her to get it done, but she didn't pay anything extra to the agency for that. But a lot of candidates prefer going the agency route. You can search in your area. I'm sure you'll find somebody doing that as well.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I just wanted to know what will be the approx monthly rent in Lyon city?
I might be the wrong person.
I won't be able to answer that, Nikhil, from Paris.
Okay, I'll answer that because I live in Lyon.
Yeah.
Depending on where you want to stay, who's asking that question?
This is me, Ruhan.
Ruhan, sorry. So Ruhan, depending on where you want to stay, but I would say roughly, if you're sharing your accommodation, it would be roughly between 250 and 350 euros per month.
Okay.
I would also go another way of it. I mean, Ashley is of course given, depending on it will really depend on a lot of factors, like he's just said, if it's sharing or is it single, or which side of the city, which part of the city. But another way to look at it is, Nikhil, how much do you keep an estimate for Paris per month?
So for Paris, I would say 650 to 850 is something you should look at.
Are you sharing, Nikhil?
Yes, I share an apartment with another classmate from emlyon, and I pay about 750.
So that's 1,500 per month.
No, 750. Yeah, that's 1,500 for both of us. Yes.
And where do you stay, Nikhil?
So I live in Noisy-le-Grand.
Noisy-le-Grand. Okay.
And it's a brand new student residence. We were very fortunate to find it. We actually found it pretty late. But a lot of people from emlyon live here. In fact, Chandana also lived here before she left to New York. And there's multiple other ambassadors from strategy, and there's a few other classmates of mine who live here as well. And there's a huge international crowd in this place.
Okay.
Great. So that's another thing with Paris. The Lyon cost is almost 1/3 of the Paris cost. That is something that you should also, that's the rough estimate that we say, that if you're spending 750, 800 euros on housing in Paris, it could be 1/3 less. So that brings it to almost the same figure, which Ashley said.
No, it's a little bit more. If it's a little bit more, because I said between 250 and 350, or 350 and 400, whatever. But it's about 400 or 500 euros. But what Nikhil said is staying in a brand new setting, and so yeah, I mean, in Lyon you will find old and new. You will find center of the city, or you'll find the outskirts. There are different options, and in general, life in Lyon, as Diksha said and has witnessed, because she's also been to Lyon, it's much cheaper.
Absolutely.
So overall cost, including everything, your food, transport, housing, everything, like if for Paris you need to keep a budget of say 1,000 to 1,200 euros, for Lyon the same can come down to say 600 to 700 euros. That's the kind of difference between both the cities in terms of the living expenses overall, everything combined. So, and of course it can be same also depending on which, like Nikhil is just said that he's living in a brand they found a brand new accommodation for students. So which part of the city, closer outskirts or in the heart of the city, what kind of accommodation, how posh locality, all these factors will of course increase or decrease the price accordingly. So it all depends on how lucky you are in finding out the right kind of house as per your budget. So you must start searching for it right away if you already haven't. That's something that I can definitely suggest. At least start exploring from right away. Yes, Sarvesh, I think you have another question as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a spoon feeding, but if anybody in Lyon has numbers or ways of contacts of those managers of the student accommodations, then it's better that we ask them and tell them if there are any vacancies or availabilities. Is that how we go about it? And my second question is whether people, especially coming from India, do they live in a scattered way, or is it certain student apartments are mostly accommodated by Indian students and we have to look for one of those?
So in terms of looking for an apartment, the best way to go about is to look at the apartments in Stood Apart. It's a website built purely to search for student accommodations, general renting, and it's very credible. And you also have something called Live in France, which is provided by emlyon. It's a tie-up emlyon has, and that's where you can find a lot of information in terms of how you do your insurance, how you do your housing. So there's multiple links. As you mentioned, you get contacts of multiple house owners. You can search for different houses in different parts of the city. Let it be Paris or Lyon, I think it's pretty much the same in terms of how you look for housing. And as per your second question, I think, so my personal experience, it's pretty scattered. Paris being a very international, not just Paris, but France being a very international country in terms of the travelers, the students. In fact, Lyon also has a lot of international crowd. So I'm sure you will be able to find apartments which will accommodate not just Indians, but it's more international scenario.
Hi, this is Ruhan. I just want to ask, what will be the proportion of Indian students, like 20%, 30%, and what would be like local French diaspora?
I did not get the second part of your question. Could you please repeat, Ruhan?
First question would be how much percentage would be Indians and how much would be the native French people, like?
Okay. So in terms of Indians, in my class, it's a class of 54 students and we are only 3 Indians, and 50% of our class is French, but do not worry, they all speak English and it's pretty easy to communicate. You wouldn't find it as challenging in Paris. I'm not sure about Lyon, but I did hear from a few students in Lyon that the communication part is not that hard, especially if you could, learn a basic phrases of French, just the greetings and just to ask your way, few basic greetings. But other than that, I think you should be good to go in terms of the communication part.
Thank you. Rohan, just to add to that, it's not like there is a fixed number for program. I mean, for every program, each program has different, figures at the end of the day. It depends also on the selection process. I mean, for some programs, a lot of Indians apply. For some, there are relatively less applying. For some, the selection, say the number of applicants that have come from India are excellent. So the number of candidates which finally get selected for the program is more. But of course, there's a cap. We don't go beyond a particular figure for any nationality, for that matter of fact, any international, that way, for maintaining the diversity. So I don't think there's an exact answer to your question about how many Indians and how many. I think it will vary from program to program. So that is something that you can be rest assured. But the diversity will always be maintained in each program irrespective. So that is, I'm sure the question comes because of that. So that is something which will always be maintained in irrespective of whichever program you are going, whether it's a specialized master's in management or an MBA program. The diversity is something that the school is very particular to maintain for each and every program. So just for your information. Yes, Anirban, you have a question before we move to the next slide.
Yeah, hi Diksha, hi. Sorry to again. Yeah, so another thing which I wanted to know is that for any sort of accommodation, we do need a guarantor, if I am not wrong, with as much as I saw in the Makers Board. So what's the process of getting a guarantor for the accommodation process?
So in terms of getting a guarantor, I think you have about 3 to 4 companies, actually more, but emlyon has tied up with 3 to 4 companies like Smart Guarant and Guarant Me. You reach them out, you register online, you put down your documents, your financial documents. It could be your bank statements, or it could be your loan letters, or it could be any of your sponsors' letters. And what they do is they take about 24 to 48 hours to validate them. And based on the whole financial document review, they give you a certain amount. So let's say you get validated and the allotted amount is around, let's say, 850 per month. So you can search for any of the housing places where the rent is about 850, and there is a certain amount you pay for the whole, let's say 3 months or 6 months or 8 months, depending on your contract. And that you pay that amount, and then they give you the certificate of guarantee. And before you check in into your housing, you provide that guarantor document to your landlord or to the administration department of wherever you're going to be onboarding.
So the correct process would be like to first go for the guarantor, and once I get that amount, and based on that, I'll have to search for the accommodation.
That would be perfect. That would be the most ideal way, because in case, let's say, you find a housing scenario for about 600 euros, and but based on the financial document review, you get about an allotment of around 550, then it could be a bit messy situation at that point of time. I have not come across that situation yet, but I would say if you could avoid that and go for the guarantor, just register for the guarantor, put your dates, put your at least the predicted dates, and get the allotment of how much ever money or the rent per month is given to you.
Okay, so this is just based on the rent. Sorry to interrupt. So this is just based on the rent, and does it also include all the insurance related to the accommodation that will be in place, like the insurance related to the accommodation?
You do insurance separately. Insurance, you get house insurance either with stood apart, or you have a couple of other companies which do specifically for students as well. They have a bit of a cheaper rate. I can share the company I've been using. They are a bit lower than stood apart and a couple of others I've explored. So I think I paid around 35 euros for 3 months, or 40 euros for 3 months. And you have to keep renewing it, or you could take an yearly pass from them, and then you can submit it to your landlord.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And it would be great if you can drop it in the chat.
Absolutely. I just have to find for it.
While filling the emlyon form, there was a question asked how you are funding. So at that time, I was not deciding to take the loan. So I wrote that my parents are funding, and right now I'm taking a small loan. Will it affect anything in process in between?
So you submitted that to emlyon, right?
Yes.
And you haven't submitted that yet to any of the Campus France or anywhere else, or the VFS?
Yes, not submitted.
Okay, then that should be fine. If you're getting a loan right now, that should be fine. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
As long as the documents are valid and authentic, you will not have any issue.
All right. And Nikhil, I have to thank you for your patience as well. I know you're handling all the questions with a lot of patience. So thank you so much for taking our time and doing this.
That's completely fine.
It's so insightful and valuable, Nikhil. Thank you so much.
That's absolutely fine. I really like, because I had the same issues, the same questions before I came in, and I did get the help from alumni. So I'd love to do the same to the incoming students.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Nikhil. So we'll move to the next slide. Nikhil, unfortunately, I don't think Chandana has joined, nor is Cheryl here. So I think you'll also have to go through the slide and then. Sally, did we miss the last one? I think there was one. This is done. This one was done. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was done as well. We spoke about
yes.
So the housing part as well, in terms of, as I mentioned, you can check for stood apart, and then there's also another housing accommodation called 𝐶𝐸 University, where you apply, and it's like an international housing. There's different houses for different countries. You could still, so let's say I'm from India, but I could get my housing even in China or Korea or a different housing. But usually what students prefer is applying into their own sort of housing. That's a really good place. You should definitely check that website out. And
but you must, Nikhil, if I can interfere and interrupt, I think they only have very few housing opportunities. They're increasing their capacity, but if you are looking at 𝐶𝐸 University, look at 𝐶𝐸 University very, very early. Absolutely. Very, very early, because
next couple of months you just keep going onto their website and see as soon as the registrations open, just put it in. I missed out on 𝐶𝐸 University. I really wanted to.
How sad. Because it's well situated as well.
Absolutely. The transportation is amazing. There's trams right in front of 𝐶𝐸 University. So you can get on the tram and get to Châtelet or Avignon and go anywhere else from there.
I think they have, I'm not sure, but I think they have something around, I won't say anything, but it's very limited. It's very limited. So check it out. Yeah. As far as India is concerned, I mean, because as Nikhil said, there are different countries offering their own housing.
So in terms of the cost, 1,200 to 1,400 per month would definitely be something I would suggest, especially considering your transportation, because when you come to Paris, I cannot speak the same for Lyon because I haven't been to Lyon yet, but in Paris, you have to get a transportation card, which is the Navigo Pass. You could pay for it weekly, monthly, or if you're under 26, you actually get a discount for a yearly pass. So that's something which is very recommended if you guys are looking to save right from the start. And also, your spending depends on if the heating and the electricity is included, which is the gas and electricity, which is included in your rent. In some places it is. In my case, it is. And in a few places, my classmates and other friends I have here, few of them pay their own heating and electricity. And in just trying to check if I've covered every point. So CAF. So CAF is an organization which is set up by the French government. As soon as you get to France, what you do is you register on the CAF portal. So it's a bit tricky because it's all in French, and I still have not been able to crack CAF myself as well. It's been almost 4.5 or 5 months since I submitted my application, and I haven't heard back yet. But a couple of my classmates from India, both of them have received CAF. So it is a bit tricky, but I would suggest you to apply for it as soon as you come here. And depending on your housing, your location, what sort of housing and agreement it is, you get a certain discount on it. And
actually, if I'm not mistaken, Nikhil, it's not really a discount, it's a subsidy.
It's a subsidy, yes. Sorry for the wrong terminology, but yes, it's a subsidy given by the French government.
I think Pranay has a question, and so is Sarvesh, both have a question here. So yes, Pranay, you can ask your question, please.
Yeah, can you please repeat what you were saying about 𝐶𝐸 University?
So 𝐶𝐸 University, it's an accommodation place which comprises of multiple houses, and each house belongs to a particular country. And you basically try and put in your registration. I think it opens about in the first week or second week of June. And what they do is it's pretty exclusive. There's very limited spots, but the accommodation, and they have a cafeteria, they have lots of different facilities inside the campus. And it's, in terms of transportation, it's very well located as well. So it's like and also there's a lot of international students, so there's a lot of opportunities to interact with people, meet different people from different countries, learn about experiences. So it's a very nice place, an ideal place for a college student to go and live. So I think in terms of getting that spot would be the hardest thing. And if you really want to experience that international environment, meet people, learn different things, and also be in a very good location in Paris, that would be one of the places to look out for.
Oh, so it's in Paris, right?
Yeah, it's in Paris.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
Actually, Cité Universitaire was part of the peace movement in the early 20s, if I'm not mistaken, and it was supposed to be a sort of a place where all countries, students from all countries would get together and would foster peace. So each country, not each actually, the main countries have their own sort of building. So it's called Cité Internationale Universitaire, the complete name. And India has a building. And I think India is pushing for a renovation and increase of capacity of that building, bringing the full capacity to about 100 plus apartments. So it's 100 plus apartments supposedly for Indians. But as Nikhil said, if you find a spot there, you may find a spot within the Indian building, or you can find a spot within the Brazilian building. I don't know if Brazil has something over there, but in a spot within another country. But yeah, it's a very interesting campus actually.
I wanted to ask another thing. By what time should I start applying for the university housing, and what all documents would I need to provide them with?
So documentation part, I think you'd need your school acceptance letter, your visa, and visa part, I think even if you have a Campus France acceptance, I think it should be okay. But I tried to apply when I had my visa, so that's why I'm saying visa. And I think the rest of your other documents should be about your birth certificate and all your other general information in terms of where you're from, which country, and your financial documents and all of that stuff.
Okay, and what would be the timeline? By what timeline should I start applying there? I mean, should I do it when I reach France, or maybe before, come prepared?
So I think the registrations, as mentioned, I think they open in the first or second week of June, but I would suggest you to start checking from the third week of May, just to make sure that you're on time and you're looking at some sort of vacancies, because they get filled within days, like within a few days. So it's really important to be on your toes if you're really looking to live in Cité University. There's also actually another accommodation which is called 𝐞𝐦𝐥𝐲𝐧. I'm not too familiar with that, but they also have really good housing and their pricing is very low.
So is there a very specific date when the registrations will open?
No, not really. It depends, because they announce it on their website. And yeah, you'd have to keep checking for it on the website.
I have a particular question regarding
I've just shared the link with you guys for Cité Universitaire.
Thank you for that.
I just want to know, did we need salary slips of our companies to verify with the bank statement and all other stuff?
if you are applying or you are sponsoring your own education, then definitely yes. But,
No.
okay. Even if not, if you could still carry 3 months of your pay slips, that would be really helpful just to have it by you. So in case they ask for it, you could still provide them with yours, because I did carry mine with me for my visa appointment for VFS, and even Campus France as well. So I mean, there's no harm in carrying the physical documents. So if you're able to, then please do it.
I have an email, so I need to print it out.
I'm sorry?
I have an email copy, like it is a computer generated salary slip, like email one. It is
Right,
not
right.
also.
That should be fine. If there's a software where you can download from, or like you said, an email, that should be fine.
Okay.
And I've also shared with you guys the 𝐞𝐦𝐥𝐲𝐨𝐧.
Hello, I have a question, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, this is Jay. I'll be joining the Lyon campus for marketing and business development program from September. And my question is directed towards Ashley.
I've left. I can't answer.
Hello. Yes, my question is directed towards you. So I saw your profile on LinkedIn and I saw that you went for your MBA in 1984.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you that, like as Indian students, our first preference sometimes is to go to a country which is English speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it for you initially at emlyon, and how did you manage? Because learning French is kind of an acquired skill that you grow on gradually. But initially, when you land there, were there any particular ice-breaking sessions that you had with people? And how did you manage to connect with people from different nationalities?
Jay,
I'm going to love the answer that's going to come from Ashley.
Jay, full disclosure. I did not go to emlyon for my MBA. I was already in France when I took my MBA seat. So this question really, I mean, the problem that you're mentioning, or the journey that you're mentioning, did not really apply to me. So, but I'll answer it nevertheless. See, what I keep telling students about going to France and the language barrier. Yes, going to France, you will have to, in some way or the other, interact in French. In the same way that you would have to interact in German if you went to Germany, or in Italian if you went to Italy, or Spanish if you went to Spain. The only country that you would probably feel comfortable in would be England, Great Britain, and the Netherlands, because they are quite fluent in English, obviously. It may seem a burden at first, but I think what you guys are looking at also is not only a degree, it's not only an education, it's also an experience. And therefore, if you want to, and Nikhil, please jump in because you are living it now. If you are only going to go to France just for the sake of getting a degree, staying at your place, and then going to campus, in between traveling by RER, metro, bus, whatever, you're going to miss out on, I believe, the most important part of your journey. It's about meeting people, interacting, diving into the culture, the food. That's going to be also a very, very interesting part. So that will require perhaps a little bit of extra work on your part, but it is, in my humble opinion, very, very rewarding. Very rewarding. What do you think, Nikhil?
Absolutely, I completely agree with you, and it's especially coming from a country like ours. We have a very rich culture, and you would be very surprised to come here and notice how rich the French culture is as well. And not just French culture, but you get a chance to meet people from different countries, different experiences, people who've probably traveled most part of their life, just listening or getting some experiences from them is it's obviously priceless. And in terms of food, exploring new things, new art especially. France is so well known for its art, and it's amazing. And we were very fortunate to actually have a treasure hunt on the first welcoming day, right before our classes. We were taken, so this was in Paris, and we were taken to a place called Montmartre. It's like a hilly side of Paris. That's where there's a cafe which is very famously known for Leonardo da Vinci. I completely forgot the name of it. If I'm not wrong, it's called the Maison Rose. I'm not really sure about it, but yeah, there's so much you discover. There's like a vineyard in the center of that place, which is beautiful, and there's different things in terms of me. There's a lot. I think I can go on forever if I talk about it, but absolutely, like, if you're just coming here for getting a degree, then it's not worth to come to a different country. But there's a lot more to getting your. There's a lot more, I would say, than getting just a degree. You're gonna rediscover yourself. You're gonna find new things to, make your hobbies, and just about your perspectives in life definitely is going to be life changing.
This was just wanted to thank you for this, because this is something that we also tell students, and when it comes from a student again who's just been there last year, that just don't come for the degree, or it's a whole experience, of the culture, the people, the food, and just to add to this, Nikhil, I know because he's from the Paris campus, so he's been talking only about the Paris campus, but those who are going to the Lyon campus, let me tell you, Paris guys also complain that a lot of activities happen in Lyon and they miss out on it. So don't get worried that these experiences will only come your way if you're in the Paris campus. There's a lot of activities. In fact, me and Saili were part of a staff day celebration in Lyon recently as in not very recent, but yeah, I mean in July last year. And
I've been banned from France ever since.
Yeah, I've been banned from France ever since because I didn't behave. But we also were made to do this treasure hunt and an activity. It was super fun. I think me and Saili had a wonderful time. So there's a lot of experiences along with your courses and your that you're going to have, which you'll cherish and relish for the rest of your life. That is something you can be rest assured of. And I think Nikhil has just vouched for that. So I don't have to add anything to it. I'll let Anushri ask the question now, because finally there's one girl asking a question. So Anushri, yes.
Hi, thank you. So actually my question is directed towards Ashley, since I'll be joining the Lyon campus. And I just wanted to know, like, their city in Paris. So is there any student universities that we should prefer in Lyon as well, where we could get that kind of exposure that people have in Cité?
You mean to say, is there a Cité universitaire in Lyon as well?
Yeah, or another kind of student residency which has that kind of environment.
To the best of my knowledge, no. To the best of my knowledge, no. But as Nikhil said, the Lyon is also a very international city. Actually, it's the second most international city after Paris. So it's first of all, on campus you're going to have a very international experience, because there are a lot of international students that are flocking the Lyon campus. If you want an international experience, you can go to Geneva. It's 1 hour from Lyon. If you want an international experience, you can go to Milan, which is probably 1.5 or 2 hours from Lyon, 2.5 hours. If you want to go to Paris, it's 1 hour 45 minutes, 1 hour 50 minutes from Lyon, etc., etc. So in terms of moving around, being in an international environment, getting the international vibe, I don't think you're going to be frustrated or in any way. But in terms of housing or location as per se, my answer would be no.
Understood. Okay. Thank you so much.
Anushri, just also you and for the rest of those who are in Lyon, I promise we'll have the next session that we'll have. We'll ensure that we also have somebody from the Lyon campus coming in, so that those who are from the Lyon campus and have specific questions for certain things which Nikhil is so wonderfully answering for the Paris campus, we'll get those answered for you. That's a promise. We'll have someone in the next session soon from the Lyon campus, maybe 2 or 3 together.
Super. Thank you so much.
All right.
Diksha, unfortunately, I have to drop from the call now. I have a class as well at 3:30.
Are we almost done? So, I mean, were there any other slides? I think if you can just very quickly talk about, the last part, if it's,
Yeah, sure.
if you have a minute.
I can wrap it up. Yeah. So for the banking part, as soon as you come to the Paris campus, so this is for the Paris campus, and I'm sure Lyon has the similar
Same
setting.
thing, Nikhil, same thing.
Okay, so as soon as you come for your welcoming day or your initial day, there's there's a lot of kiosks where there's telecom services and banking services. They sit down and you can actually go up to them and they sign you up. So it's all done in school. So you really don't have to worry about coming here and then going to a particular bank and you are finding your way out. That's the college sorts it out for you right from day one. So the one thing I would suggest is BNP, which is right next to the Paris campus as well. The bank is like very close to the campus. So that's something I would suggest. And as soon as you come, you can register with them. In terms of telecom services, if you want something before you actually come to Paris, at VFS, I don't know if they do it at every VFS, but I'm sure I've heard about them doing it in Mumbai, Delhi, one in Hyderabad, the one in Chennai, that they have the service called Lebara SIM. It's a prepaid SIM where you can, I think it'll cost you around 10 euros for unlimited talk time in France, unlimited messaging in France with about 40 or 60 gigabytes. So you can take that up right before even coming to France, and I think that's a little easier in terms of making sure that you have something to communicate and you have internet to travel around and just find your way. But if you think it doesn't work, you can just come here and you have multiple other services like Free, Orange, and I forgot the other one, but yeah, Free and Orange are usually two things which a lot of people prefer. Orange is a bit expensive, it's on the premium side, but Free is something which is definitely catered towards college students. So I think it's about the same, I think 12 or 13 euros for the basic package.
Got it. So I think you've covered most of it, right?
So the Navigo pricing has just changed to 85 from January for a monthly pass, and for the weekly pass it's changed to 30 euros. But it's not just the RER, but you can take the RERs, metro, you can take the trams, you can take the buses. Everything is included in that one pass. So it's like a one package solution for all your mobility in Paris.
Perfect. So yes, the last part of it, I think, is.
So for the language, I have done my A1 at Alumnus Français back in Hyderabad, but emlyon provides French classes as well with your semester. There's one class every week. It's pretty fast paced. If you do have an A1, that would help you a lot to catch up with the teaching which is going on in school. But if you're trying to do A2, A1 and A2 back in India and come to France, that's even better, because if you have the language, it's so much more easier for you to communicate your way with people and get, talk to different people in school as well. And for the Forex part, so we did mention NEO, but try to avoid NEO right now because there's an RBI has put some ban on NEO last month. So the only thing is that I think they are open to do any sort of transactions only until March 15, and after that there's going to be a review on them. Try to look for a Forex card from Thomas Cook, ICICI or HDFC. Those ones are the best ones. Or if you can get an international credit card, that would be pretty good as well. And in terms of, I mean, as soon as you come to France, just try to get all the money you have in your Forex card and put it in your local bank account. That would be the best way to go about in terms of getting your money from India. And yeah, travel adapters. Please get an international adapter. I missed out on it and I struggled for 2 days. I had no charge on my phone for most of the time and no charge on my laptop. So make sure you buy one adapter, at least one before you leave India. And in terms of shopping, if you're coming in, I mean, all of you are going to be coming in September, so it's not going to be that cold. Do not buy any winter clothes in India. I mean, if you do already have some winter clothes, please carry them. But you can get some really good deals for the major winter coats in at the time of Black Friday, and which is I think in November, the third week of November, and some good deals in December and January. You'll be surprised in January how big of a deal, how big of offers they are for shopping in Paris. So do not worry about shopping a lot in India. If you do, for the winter clothes. And in terms of food, if you guys are very attached to Indian food, try to carry some spices because the food's extremely bland. If you're down to explore, there's amazing food. There's different types of cuisines, let's say even in Paris and Lyon as well. So, but if you think you're gonna miss that spice, that amount of spice you have in India, please carry some sort of spices so you can cook by yourself. And hopefully I covered most of the part. If anyone has a
Nikhil,
guys, I think Nikhil has a class, so you will have to take the questions now on email with him because he's already said he's got a class and I don't want him to be late for his class because of us. So Nikhil has already shared his email ID and LinkedIn in the chat. Please take it and you can ask him, send him the questions. If those of you missed out, you can also ask the questions and we'll forward it to Nikhil. There are particular questions that you want to ask Nikhil, but thank you so much, Nikhil. I think he's already left.
No, I'm still here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you.
We really want to thank you. Thank you so much for patiently
Thanks.
answering all the questions, and hopefully you will be bombarded with some mails after this session as well, since you have shared your email ID. Those questions which have been left unanswered, I think they can connect with you on LinkedIn or through email, and I'm sure you'll be kind enough to answer them as patiently as you have been kind enough to answer them on the Zoom call today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for being here.
Ali, thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good week.
Yeah.
You too.
So guys, just to let you know, we will be sharing this recording with you, all of you, on email as well. So in case you missed it, we'll be uploading it to our YouTube channel. You can also go and just wait for a couple of days. It'll take us because there's a Holi now, day after. So it might be by Thursday or Friday. It should be there on our YouTube India channel as well. And once it's uploaded to our YouTube channel, we'll be sharing the link with all of you. And this particular presentation, we'll ensure that we are sending it in the WhatsApp group, and we'll also send it through mailers, to all of you, so that you all have it. So that is something that we can promise. And we'll be having more such sessions like we have promised. Every month we'll try to have 1 or 2 sessions now till you guys have landed in France, so that if there are any problems or any issues, we are always there to help you out. And we'll be bringing in more students who can interact with you, like I have promised to Anushri and the others who had questions for Lyon. We'll also get somebody from the Lyon campus next time, so that all your queries on the Lyon campus are also.
Is there any WhatsApp group for us?
Sorry?
Is there any WhatsApp group for us, like for Indian students?
We have a WhatsApp India group. I'm sorry, Rohan, which program do you belong to?
MSc in International Marketing and Business Development.
And you've been in touch with Saili or Ridham?
No,
Yes.
I am in touch with Saili.
Yeah, I think Saili will add you then. She's she'll add you to the. We have a WhatsApp group, Indian.
Yeah, we'll add students whose enrollment has been confirmed. So once your enrollment is confirmed, I'll definitely add you.
In just afternoon, it was confirmed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do that, and she'll do that once your enrollment fees and everything is confirmed. You'll be added to the group. No worries on that. And thank you everyone once again for being a part of this. I hope this was useful to all of you. And no, I haven't forgotten, so I can wish on behalf of my entire team once again a very happy Holi to all of you, and have a lovely, colorful Holi, and let the colors of joy be there in your life. I didn't see a lot of you, unfortunately. I wanted all to see at least a few of you, but only a couple of you cooperated. If before leaving you want to switch on your cameras and say a bye, that'd be nice.
Just before we close, you did say you'll be sharing the deck on WhatsApp, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Yep, thanks for the session though. Thank you for the session, everyone.
This was a call for which you had to switch on your video and say a happy Holi. Not ask whether you're sharing this PPT or not. That I've already informed.
I was just reconfirming it. But yeah,
so
happy
Holi to everybody.
Thank you for the session and happy Holi.
Thank you. Happy Holi to everyone.
So much.
Take care.
Happy
Thank
Holi.
you. Thank you.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Happy Holi, everyone.
Thank you.